All right, three, two, one. Me and Maddie live November 18th. We're talking books, resources, supportive information, things to fill your mind with. Maddie, go.
Okay. So, in the context of your health and fitness, I think that you should use any and all resources that you possibly can, whether that be books, courses, videos, um, support groups. So, like support groups for people that are going through similar things. I think that you should use any and all resources that you can, similar to how you would on any other pursuit, whether that be, say you're starting a business, say you were trying to improve a skill, a hobby, whatever the case may be. I think that you should use any resource that you can, read as much as you can, learn as much as you can. The caveat to that being that the more that you know, the more that you learn doesn't mean anything if you don't take action. So that's what I would say opening up to this.
All right, all right. Opening up to that and then opening back up to it, right? Is when you're filling yourself with this reading and the all or like watching stuff, like how football players watch film or basketball players, they'll watch to see what competing teams might use against them. That's what we got to do with any area in regards to fitness particular, right? It's like if you're going to get strong and you want to do this for whatever reason right now, you said the new year's coming up, right? A lot of us get prompted into it for whatever reason, like through friends or you see it online. It's like the real way to do it is find somebody that's like similar to you, right? Like you maybe it's like you're thin and you want to bulk up on some muscle. I know a lot of dudes that I talk with, they work themselves to the bone, right? like a lineman or something, right? They're up on the forklift or the boom all the time, and so yeah, it's like a lot of dudes have a tough time with extra energy and workouts, and then when they have like the physical job, that's a classic one. And some way to just combat that is like you don't need to spend multiple hours in the gym to be more athletic. You can support yourself by just like twice a week, once a week for an hour, and you don't even need equipment. Like that's another one that's right behind that one. The time and the energy, the equipment, dude. You can get like the craziest workout with just the floor, right? Like planks, push-ups, like all the classic stuff, lunges, take a run and take a walk, and you have to make sure you enjoy that process. And that's why we're talking resources, because to get on that wave, like somebody else has this wave, I know I have that wave, so you can talk to me. My hope or my belief is that I get you on that wave, and it is a tidal wave. But there's other people that have done it for a long time. Like, go watch Rocky and tell me you don't want to work out for 20 minutes. That's what I have to say. Go, Maddie.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I think also too with resources, I mean, you can learn different perspectives. You can learn how to do things, how to like say structure a workout. I mean, that could be like a Google search. You could learn about different workouts to do. You could find workout videos. You could learn again about mindset. But I think you can also you can learn about other people's struggles too. Like I mentioned earlier, you can learn from if you're in like a community and there's a lot of communities like this, like, if you have a bad day or a bad week, it's like I set out to do 2 workouts this week, like you said, and then you don't do them or you do one and then you just beat yourself up and like berate yourself. If you're in a group with someone, with people rather that are on the same path, and you kind of just say that, like, I had a rough week, I didn't get done what I want to do, and they're like, yeah, I did the same thing, or I did that last week, you know it's just like confirmation to get back on the horse, and support really too.
Yeah, yeah. A quote popped into my head when you were sharing, and it's like this quote about information being power. It's potential power, right? And you hinted to that, where it's like, yeah, I read all this great stuff. I got like inspired by this story or something, or like something spoke to me. It's like the worst, and I've done it a billion times. I feel awful when I don't get to access that, because like whether it's like, oh, some particular thing like running an interval, or like ways to jump rope or something like that. It's like I feel like crap, and it makes me prolong the stage of not acting. because I go, oh, I said I was going to do it on Wednesday. I didn't do it on Wednesday. So now it goes back into the realm of non-action. It's that place.
Yeah, and I think beating yourself up, I think that's the loop that a lot of people fall into, is beating yourself up, right? Like, I set to do it out on Wednesday, I didn't do it. It's like, oh fuck, can I even do it? I even want to do this? It's like I kind of failed, so I don't even know if I want to do it anymore, right? So it's kind of this loop of like, oftentimes too. I mean, this is something we've talked about on previous weeks, but like you mentioned, 1 or 2 times a week. Oftentimes, we'll jump in. I'm saying we, because it's everyone starting out. We want to go all in. So we'll go 5 times. We'll plan for 5. We might get 5. And then week 2 rolls around. We miss one day. We're like, I failed at this. I can't do this anymore. And it's like this cycle of doing that over and over again. It's like beating yourself up for not living up to an expectation that was unrealistic to start in the beginning.
Yeah, yeah. And the other thing is like supporting your habits with just like any duration of it. Well, that's a win, man. Like you need to be like cool with like a 10-minute workout's better than no workout. The workouts that suck, right? That you definitely like didn't want to do. It's like those are more important because they're more often. Like most of the time you have all these other places that like are weakening your willpower to get them done. Something like just some info to maybe take away is like I think the more habitual you make like the Wednesday workout happen, it makes it easier for everything to get synced up that Wednesday you're going to do this. Whereas if you let that feel like it could happen any day, it's harder to get it because you're not really in tune with this is what, if I get this one thing, if I just skip rope for 10 minutes, that's awesome. If I did that every week, that's even better. And now you're in this rhythm and now it'll start to feel like I could do this at any point. But to just jump into any point could be a workout, you're going to be like, dude, it can't be, and that's natural. That's where you're at. And you gotta make amends with it. It's not right now. Like it hasn't been for as long as up until now. Right. And that's why it's tough. And that's a whole mindset game. And you can get lost in the rabbit hole, and being lost in the rabbit hole is that maze of like, I don't work out and I feel like shit for not doing it. I know I should. And I have available time that I don't use. Wyatt and Maddie are right, but they're assholes for pointing out that I don't work out. It's all good, man. We're catching you here because you're going to take this and it would be cool. Some evidence of a workout with a video or something. Tag Maddie in it and let us know that we got you skipping rope or something.
I think just some resources. Maybe we could share some resources. One that came to my mind, you were talking about small habits, was the book Atomic Habits. I think you should definitely check that out if you're interested in making real change in your life, and weight loss could be part of that. I think there's an example in that book. A guy started working out like 1 minute. He just decided he was going to start working out 1 minute in the gym, and he ended up losing 100 pounds because it was just about showing up over time, and it was like he showed up for a minute. He's like, I'm going to show up. I'm going to put my gear on. I'm going to get to the gym and I'm going to go there for 1 minute. And I'm going to work out for literally 1 minute and then I'll just leave. And like, it was about the actual, like showing up to the gym, because then it was like 2 minutes and then it was 3. And then all of a sudden he's like actually doing workouts, and, down the line, he lost 100 pounds.
Yeah. And it's just like the phrase, like save your pennies. Like imagine if we really saved our pennies when you get the pennies from the grocery store. You'd have more money than if you didn't, and like you just lost them in the car or you just left them in the car. Put them in one spot and then bring it to the Star Bank or whatever it is where you live, where like you toss the coins in and it gives you dollars.
Yeah.
There's excess money, and now it's that same investment with. It's tough because you don't see this thing. This is why you gotta, like Rocky, right? He like, I think in a lot of like motivational fitness movies where somebody's going up against a great competitor and this workout, like they have a competition, they make crosses on the they X off the days.
That's right. Yeah.
They show the timestamp, like, yep, I worked out today, I did this today, and they show the time ticking down. And And sometimes we just do that for the month, like a casual thing. But like shit, dude, that's literally means pounds.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Imagine if you did that for, let's just imagine that you made like a really small set of goals for the week. Like say I'm going to work out once this week or twice this week. Um, and then you X those off, right? The same way that you like they do in Rocky and all those like TV shows and all that stuff where it's like showing like I'm working out and I'm gonna
That's it.
climb this mountain.
That's
But
it.
imagine if you did that like and you looked back at your calendar and it's like, huh. And then each week you wrote beside it how much weight you lost that week. And then all of a sudden, like a month goes by, 2 months go by, 3 months go by, 4 months go by, 6 months go by, and your whole calendar is full of X's. You can see the weight go down each week, and you're a different person at the end of 6 months. And then you keep doing it, and then it's a year, and then it's 2 years. Then you're really a different person.
Yeah. Now, are you lucky that you lost the weight? Or is it
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
I did that, you know, like every day I have to really think of it.
Yeah, and it was manageable, right? Because it was small. Because it was small steps over time. You're used to doing 10 minutes at the gym, so now you do 15. You used to
Some,
doing 15, now you do 20. And then one day
sometimes,
you look up and it's like, I'm where I want to be.
yeah, yeah. I just had to jump this in there too. Like a lot of times, I know for me and other guys, sometimes it's like the gym you work out at, for whatever reason, you don't have buds there. And maybe this is like you left this in high school or college or wherever. Like maybe you were in the gym atmosphere, you got some lifts in, or like you played a sport and you had some friends in the sport, and now you're
Yeah.
in general life and like these tethers to the gym aren't there.
Yeah.
And it really comes in on us to like make ourselves go, because once you do that, this is why anywhere that you go all the time is easy to find yourself again, is because
Yeah.
like you see your buds there and you want to shoot the shit and just talk about something. And now it's like, yeah, yeah, well, since we're here, we do it
Yeah.
now. The
It's a
rest,
social thing before, right? Like you meet your buddies, you all gather on Sunday or Tuesday evening or whatever it is, whatever the day, and you're just like hanging out. And it's like, yeah, yeah, it's a social thing, right?
and that way it's always shown to you in a fun way.
Yeah.
And it's like maybe like corny or like lame to say it that way, I guess, but that's where a lot of big things happen. Because maybe like I know through the gym I go to, a lot of the guys who fight in like boxing and stuff, that's how they started. And now it's like that, it sounds cool, right? Because you see this thing through, they understand this guy's just a badass, he's like a fighter or something. But maybe he just lost 50 pounds and thought he was like a loser for it, and now he's fighting another man in the ring. Like that is crazy. He got really into this thing, and that happens more regular than you think.
Yeah. And that's a crazy interesting point, I think, too, because like imagine where you could be if you did start and give into the stuff that you know that you want to do, right? Like for someone that's like listening probably and is interested in this and like that wants to lose weight and go down this path, they have a feeling or there's a voice in their head or like an intuition that's telling them that they should lose weight and that they could be this other version of themselves, right? Or they're being pulled, whatever way you want to put it. They have a feeling that they should lose weight, right? So imagine where they could be or where you could be if you did follow that. Maybe you could be a fighter. You don't have to be a fighter, but I mean, like, you don't really know where this path will end up, right? Like, I've seen it in the gyms that I worked at, and I've seen it with clients. But it's like life really changes, and it's okay. Like you can think about it like, well, you're just talking about working out and weight loss and stuff. It's like, yeah, but there's something that changes. It's like a self belief. It's like I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I feel, and I don't like the way my life is. Sometimes maybe the life is good, and you don't like the way you look or feel, right? But when you change that, the way you look and the way that you feel being the big part, right? And you overcame this obstacle that you were constantly fighting against every morning when you looked at the mirror, um, then all of a sudden everything around you kind of changes. Like there's nothing. What's the next thing that I really want to do? And who's the version of me that's that's just doing the things I want to do because I've overcome this battle. So
What's
now
next? That's
what's
the
next? It's
upward spiral.
yeah. And it's like I've overcome my own demons too, you know, because my demons are telling me like, fuck, I should lose weight. And I was there too, by the way. That's why I'm talking about this. I was just like drinking all the time and eating fucking everything. And I was like, you know that you shouldn't be doing that. But you're doing it for a reason. But then when you face that reason and you face yourself and you overcome that, and then all of a sudden you're in a better place, then from there you can actually go and be the person you want to be. You don't have this constant monkey in your back that's just like, you know what I'm saying? Go fucking get drunk and go eat McDonald's. Go get Baconators at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
You know
I'm also, for anyone out there, I'm also a reformed junk food junkie, junk food addict. And
I think this dude loves sugar. I don't know. I've seen him once down in Boston, but we hop on calls sometimes, and he's like, "Oh man, I was just ate some delicious donuts. So the Dunkin' Donuts down there, right?"
I literally just
came in, went to Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh yeah, I literally just had some Belgian chocolate right before he jumps out. He's like, "All right, you ready to go?" Maddie looks at me, and then I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just chewing on some chocolate real quick." But I have it. I have it in a structure for myself, and today's in that structure where I get to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I don't always get to. And there's Dr. Uberman, you know, the Uberman Labs podcast.
Yeah.
Uberman, whatever. I always feel like I'm butchering his name, but I don't know. He was saying that one of his he does. He's like a bunch of slips on a piece of paper, and he puts it in a hat that he keeps in his car, and it says yes or no, and he has more no's than yeses. And now this yes is to the treat after the workout. So like, all right, you beat the demon of holding yourself out of the gym. Now you have to you have to stop beating up on yourself for not getting in the gym. Cool, you got to the gym. And now the next place is do you treat yourself after every workout with a sweet meal or like a sugary meal? Because a lot of guys do, even if they say it's like a protein shake. Some of these protein things are like still full of sugar.
Dude, I did that video yesterday. Gatorade, and I didn't know any of this stuff, right? I didn't know any of this stuff till I learned it. Gatorade has 36 grams of sugar.
There you go. It's like
you may as well just drink a Coca-Cola. And I thought it was like, oh, this is good. I'm in shape. And like, I was in shape, but I was drinking. It's not good for you, right?
No.
The thing that everyone says electrolytes are what they claim is like it's a small amount of sodium, which is electrolyte. So if you drank like a little bit of salt, you'd get the same thing. And that's like your electrolytes is something that you would only really need if I don't know. It's all crazy. We don't need to go down that rabbit hole right now. But I used to drink Gatorade. I used to drink Vector bars. I don't know if you have Vector bars down there. They're like chocolate Vector bars and chocolate milk.
Oh,
so
nice.
It was basically like right after the gym. Me and my buddy used to do that every time. It's basically like a delicious chocolate bar, and you wash it down with chocolate milk. It's
a sweet combo.
10 out of 10, man. 10
and that works. Like I'm happy that you did that because you earned it because you did something beforehand. That's a good cycle. Like I do this thing that either I do like or sometimes I don't because it's tough. Like you're doing friggin' squats and overhead presses and shit, and then you go have a chocolate bar with a chocolate milk. But it's like, dude, we could be better, man. But I just wanted to wrap up that example from Dr. Uberman. He has less yeses than nos. So like, what you get to work on is the reward is very delayed regularly because you set it up that way. Every once in a while, you get your chocolate milk and your chocolate bar. You get to feel like a happy boy.
Yeah. I like that too because it's putting it in like not in your hands.
It's not in your hands.
You know what I mean? It's like I don't get to decide. I just pick, and if it's yes, it's yes, and no, no. And it's like surrendering to I don't know, whatever the choice is, opposed to like surrendering to your own wants, I guess, cravings.
if you had to go to your mom or dad every time that you wanted to buy something, this is how it was. And then now that you're in charge, you go, yeah, I want the food because I can buy the food, I can have the food, I can have this, I want this. But now
Yeah.
you're making something else decide for you. It's good
Yeah.
for you now, and it's good for you later. And that's a good little habit. There's other ways of doing it. You could do like a roll of dice and just roll it out and put more X's versus than checks marks. Like do like a green check mark, you know?
Yeah, that's some nerdy shit though. No one's gonna do that shit.
Probably not. You gotta be nerdy.
Start messing around with dice and X's and stuff to see if you can talk about it or not. Just eat the damn thing or don't, man.
Yeah, that's it. Well,
Nerd.
that's the thing. You could just say no and mean it, and then you don't have to be a nerd. So
Yeah,
do that.
gotta come up with an algorithm to
Yeah, that is the nerdiest shit you've ever heard,
some
right?
AI algorithm.
Yeah. Well, before we jumped on, I told everybody, Maddie was hiding this from you, that he invented the internet, and he's one of the wizards that created this.
Yeah, I was there. One of the founding fathers of Wi-Fi. It's a joke. It's a joke. All right. So like, listen, Wyatt, is there any resources you can think of? I don't know. I'm kind of taking the host seat, but like, is there any resources you can think of? I want to ask you that question.
Yeah, true. We should get back to brass tacks here. So
maybe to wrap up, we're 21 minutes in. I mean, we're just having fun, but
yeah, we're wrapping. This is the resource I've been pulling on, and I hope as many people out there get to watch it. If you have Netflix, cancel whatever you're watching right now and just go watch Stutz. And it's about Jonah Hill and his relationship with his therapist and how he got there. And it's really good. You'll get a lot of things out of it that you can put into practice, just like we've been talking about. So
Stutz, okay. Stutz on Netflix. That's interesting. I'm gonna watch that too. You were telling me about that.
What about you? What's your resource?
Well, I mentioned Atomic Habits. I think that's really good. I think that you should definitely check that out in life in general, even if it's not anything to do with weight loss, just in general. I think it's just really good information to know. And I'll just throw one out. I'll throw another one out there just a little bit, kind of into the ether, that I think is a really good one too. It's called The Surrender Experiment. And that's about meditation. I know that you've read that book too, Wyatt.
All day.
But if you're struggling to meditate, you want to meditate, you're thinking about getting into it, that's a really good book. It's just about a guy's life story. It's really fun to read, but it explains meditation that made it click for me and helped me in my life. Maybe it'll help you too.
Absolutely. There it is. So now it's paramount that you now just make that next resource the thing you go and do, and then take the action out after that point. And we've already helped you a lot to do that from here. Because right now I'm hoping you're fired up. I'm gonna do some things to end my day, and let us both know if we're doing that for you.
Yeah, Peace. I'm gonna train boxing, and then I'm gonna box Wyatt down in Boston. It's gonna be pay-per-view, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, we're going for the record, like a Conor McGregor pay-per-view. A few million for the pay-per-view. Dana wouldn't have a problem with that.
Yeah. Coach's Corner boxing match.
Yeah.
Grudge match of the century.
That'd be good. We'll get something set up. Happy Friday as well.
Happy Friday. We'll talk soon. Thanks, guys.